Rosalie Cullen. The book doesn't give a lot of backstory on any of the characters, actually. I think there's so many of us that it would have just taken forever. But as the series sort of unfolded, you got to know each and every one of them a little bit more. And Stephanie Meyer, the writer, she gave us a backstory before we started to give us an idea of what we were doing and add in, a certain amount of depth that may or may not have been incorporated. And Rosalie was raped and beaten by her fiancé back about, 100 years ago. And she almost died, and Carlisle found her, and I guess, he couldn't bear to see her bleeding and dying on the ground, and so he actually changed her into a vampire because he wanted Edward to have a soulmate. And he thought that we would be great, and for whatever reason, Edward didn't fall in love with Rosalie. And Rosalie really just wants to be normal. That's what she's always wanted, even when she was normal. She didn't want to be as beautiful as she was. She didn't want to stand out as much as she did. She kind of just wanted to be like an average young woman who got married and had a family. And so I think that a lot of the anger that she carries it's not necessarily coming from like a malicious place. It's coming from more of a place of envy, because she just wants to be normal. And so when Bella comes into Edward's life, it's like she's not looking at Bella in a vicious, jealous way. It's just kind of like, I want to be you. I want to have whatever it is that you have. I don't know what Edward sees in you, but whatever it is, he didn't see it in me, and I don't see it in me, and I want to be that, Mm-hmm. And it's actually quite sad. A lot of the kids, I think Alice is the only one that is living in sort of like a bubbly world because she doesn't remember what it was like to be a person, but the rest of us are kind of sitting around going, we didn't have a choice, we didn't choose this, Carlisle chose this for us, and so we're all playing that a little bit. There's like an underlying resentment, I think.
Talk about, how the pressure on, obviously, Kristen and Rob, mm-hmm. and then how they've pulled it off, how you as an actor have watched them hopefully do well.
Well, first and foremost, I think we all had to walk into this and let all that go. If we thought about every remark that was made or every comment that was made, I think it would drive us all mad, because this is a completely unrealistic yet very relatable situation, because that's what people want in life, is to be loved unconditionally. That's like, at the end of the day, our sole purpose and our sole reason for existing is to love somebody else. And I know what I'm saying probably sounds really controversial, but really it's just to love someone and to reproduce. Like, that's human nature, that's what people want. And I think what Bella and Edward have is sort of it's that and perfected, it's like, it almost seems like with all the flaws that they have, it's completely flawless, with all the obstacles, being that he's a vampire and she's a human, it's like their connection is undeniable, and there's a lot of expectations, there's a lot of pressure on Kristen and Rob, and I think they're doing a fantastic job. At the end of the day, we're all just actors playing these characters, and there's going to be a lot of people that love it. There might be some people that don't, and we hope that we do the book justice. And I don't really know what else to... we all kind of came in, so it's really nervous, really nervous, because people had drawn up pictures of Edward and Rosalie and Bella, and I remember people going like, so-and-so doesn't have the right smile to be this character, so-and-so isn't the right height, and it's like, yeah, but we're no longer the characters in the book, we're the characters in the film that's based on the book.
Now, you've worked with Catherine, obviously, several times now.
I have.
Did she call you up on the time? Did she call you up at some point and say, I'm thinking of doing Twilight next. Maybe I have a spot for you, that kind of thing. Do you guys share ideas a lot?
I wish it worked like that. I wish that when you were making a $40 million film, you could just call people and go like, hey, do you want to be in my movie? But unfortunately, what a lot of people don't realize is that when you're making a film, it's not just the director. There's a studio, there's producers, there are a lot of people that make these decisions, and as nice as it would be for Catherine to be able to just call me and say, like, hey, can I put you in my film? It doesn't exactly work like that. It usually, I don't want to say it's a coincidence, because it's definitely not. We work well together, we have a great history, I think we make good work. But it's more that the people that hire her to direct a film of theirs, they've most likely seen her other work, and I happen to be in it, and so I think I'm just still in their minds. I mean, I'm very flattered every time I get a phone call from a studio or a producer asking me if I'm interested in one of their projects, and I'm thrilled when I hear that Catherine's working on it. And it goes both ways, because I was attached to another film for a long time, and the director fell out, and they called me and said, how about Catherine Hardwicke? And so, you know, it goes both ways.
How have you guys both kind of changed what you normally do for this movie? I mean, this is very different than stuff you guys have done in the past.
It is. I think it's evolved in a nice way, because certainly 13 was very far from this, and then she did Lords of Dogtown, which was her second film, and there was a little bit more action in that, and it was pretty intense, you know, with there were some special effects and CGI and things involved, and this is definitely 10 steps beyond that. So we're all getting used to this. I mean, I was like flying on cables 3 days ago. Yeah, there's been a lot of Twilight fans, and there's this group called Twilight Moms. So a lot of the Twilight Moms around. I think that production is kind of keeping us sort of separate, just so that we can focus and work. And there's one occasion where I accidentally locked myself in a hallway, and I was all by myself, and they were rolling, and I couldn't see. There was nobody with me to tell me when they were cutting, so I didn't want to walk out and ruin the shot. So I was sitting in there for like an hour with a lot of the Twilight fans, and we had a great time. I mean, they were just asking me questions, but it took a little to sort of break the ice, and then everyone thought it was just free range, so it was